I'm a millionaire, and my friend challenged me to marry an obese woman for a day, but I broke down in tears when the sun shone intensely over New York City that summer morning. The shadows of the skyscrapers stretched over the crowded streets where the city's hustle and bustle never ceased. In the midst of that orderly chaos, on the top floor of an exclusive office building was Alex, a young, successful businessman known for his arrogance and opulent lifestyle. He had managed to amass a considerable fortune at a young age, and his impeccable appearance and luxurious lifestyle were the envy of many. Alex was in his office, staring distractedly out the window, when his lifelong friend Robert entered without announcing himself. Robert was one of the few who could afford such familiarity with Alex. Although they shared a long friendship, their personalities were diametrically opposed. Robert was known for his humor and carefree attitude, always looking for ways to challenge Alex and push him out of his comfort zone. "Alex, I have a challenge for you," Robert said, with a mischievous smile on his face. "A challenge?" Alex responded, raising an eyebrow, always ready to accept any challenge that tested his wit or skill. "Yes, I want you to get married for a day," Robert said, enjoying the look of surprise on his friend's face, "but not to just any woman. I want you to marry someone who doesn't fit your superficial standards of beauty." Alex laughed, sure that Robert was joking. However, seeing the seriousness in his friend's eyes, his laughter faded. "And what do I get out of this?" he asked, intrigued. "If you do it, I'll donate a substantial sum to the charity of your choice," Robert replied, knowing that despite his arrogance, Alex had a philanthropic side that he rarely showed. The proposal was so absurd that Alex couldn't help but feel tempted. The idea of marrying for a day to a woman outside his standards was, in his mind, more of a game than a reality. However, the promise of a generous donation made him consider the challenge. "All right, I accept," he finally said with a confident smile. "But you choose the woman." Robert nodded, satisfied that he had piqued Alex's interest. Over the next few days, he dedicated himself to finding the perfect candidate, someone who could challenge his friend's superficial perceptions and perhaps teach him a valuable lesson. Finally, Robert introduced Alex to Isabella, a woman of simple appearance but with a demeanor and dignity that were not intimidated by wealth or social status. Isabella was an art lover, working in a small gallery, and had a passion for life that radiated in every word and gesture. Alex, accustomed to surrounding himself with women who met the strict beauty standards imposed by society, found himself surprised by Isabella's presence. Although at first he saw her as merely a means to fulfill the challenge, he soon began to notice her intelligence and deep knowledge of art, something he had never considered important. The wedding day arrived quickly. Alex, dressed in an elegant suit, found himself waiting in a small room at the city hall. Isabella arrived shortly after, in a simple but elegant dress that reflected her unpretentious personality. The ceremony was brief, almost like a formality, but in those brief moments, Alex noticed something in Isabella that intrigued him. There was a sincerity in her gaze and a warmth in her smile that disarmed him. Despite the temporary nature of their union, Isabella seemed to take the commitment seriously, and that sparked an unexpected curiosity in Alex. After the ceremony, Isabella suggested they visit the Metropolitan Museum of Art, a place that for Alex was just another building in the city, but for Isabella represented a sanctuary of creativity and history. As they walked through the galleries, Isabella shared her knowledge about the works, speaking with a passion that Alex found contagious. Despite his initial disinterest, Alex began to see the artworks through Isabella's eyes, discovering a new way to appreciate beauty and human expression. During that visit, something changed within him. For the first time, he felt attracted not by someone's appearance, but by their essence and vision of the world. The day continued with lunch at a small diner, far from the usual luxury Alex was accustomed to. There, Isabella talked about the importance of enjoying the small things in life, a concept Alex had ignored in his pursuit of success and recognition. As the hours passed, Alex realized that the challenge he had accepted was much more than just a game. Isabella was not only leading him to question his own beliefs and prejudices, but also guiding him on a path of self-discovery he had never imagined. This first day together marked the beginning of a transformation in Alex, one that would lead him to reevaluate what it really meant to be rich and successful. Unbeknownst to him, Isabella had begun to change his life in ways he could not yet fully comprehend. The afternoon advanced as Alex and Isabella walked through the streets of New York after their museum visit. Despite his initial skepticism, Alex found himself fascinated by the way Isabella saw the world. There was something in her way of speaking, in her genuine enthusiasm for simple things, that made him question his own priorities. They decided to stop at a nearby park to rest and enjoy the gentle breeze. Isabella, always attentive to her surroundings, pointed out how the evening light transformed the urban landscape into something almost magical. Alex, used to seeing the city as just a backdrop for his business, began to notice details that had previously escaped him. It's curious how something so everyday can be so beautiful if you look at it from another angle, commented Isabella, sitting on a bench and looking around with a serene smile. Alex nodded, surprised to find himself agreeing. He sat next to her, letting the silence between them fill with the distant sound of traffic and the laughter of children playing in the park. "I never thought I could enjoy something as simple as this," admitted Alex, with a sincerity he rarely showed. Isabella looked at him, her eyes shining with a mix of understanding and warmth. "Sometimes we get lost in the pursuit of the extraordinary and forget what really matters," she said. "Life is full of small wonders that we overlook because we're too busy looking for something else." Her words resonated with Alex, who had spent much of his life chasing goals, accumulating wealth and status, without stopping to appreciate what he really had. In that moment, he began to understand that there was more to life than material success. They decided to keep walking, and as they did, Isabella told him about her love for painting and how she had started working at the gallery. For her, art was not just a job, but a way to connect with human emotions and experiences in a deep and meaningful way. "Art allows us to see the world through someone else's eyes," explained Isabella, her voice full of passion. "It challenges us to question our perceptions and find beauty in the unexpected." Alex listened attentively, increasingly intrigued by her perspective. He had never considered art as anything more than an investment, but Isabella was leading him to see beyond its monetary value. As they walked, they passed a small square where a group of street musicians was playing a cheerful melody. Isabella stopped, encouraging Alex to enjoy the moment. The music filled the air, and for an instant, Alex forgot his worries and simply let himself be carried away by the rhythm. "Why don't we dance?" suggested Isabella, taking his hand with a playful smile. Alex hesitated for a moment, aware of the curious glances of passers-by, but something in Isabella's carefree joy convinced him. He joined her, and together they began to dance to the music, laughing as if they were the only ones in the world. For Alex, that moment was revealing. He realized that happiness did not depend on material possessions, but on the ability to enjoy the present and share it with someone special. Isabella, with her simplicity and authenticity, was showing him a new way to see life, one he had never considered possible. As the day came to an end, Alex found himself reflecting on everything he had experienced. Isabella had challenged his superficial perceptions and had taken him on a journey of self-discovery that was just beginning. Although the day of their temporary marriage was coming to an end, Alex knew that his relationship with Isabella had left a deep mark on him. As they said goodbye, Alex felt a strange mix of sadness and gratitude. Isabella had taught him more in a single day than he had learned in years, and although their marriage was just a game, the lessons he had learned were real. "Thank you for showing me a different side of life," said Alex sincerely. Isabella smiled, her gaze full of understanding and warmth. "It's always a pleasure to share what I love with someone willing to listen," she replied. "I hope you find what you're really looking for, Alex." With those words, they said goodbye, but Alex knew that their story was not over. Isabella had planted a seed of change in his heart, and he was determined to cultivate it, to discover who he really was and what he could become. After saying goodbye to Isabella, Alex returned to his penthouse in the heart of New York City. The view from his window, which had once seemed like a symbol of his success, now felt different. As he watched the city lights, he couldn't stop thinking about the conversations he had had with Isabella. Her words resonated in his mind, challenging everything he had considered important. The next morning, Alex woke up with a sense of restlessness. The experience of the previous day had left him with more questions than answers. Determined to understand better what he was feeling, he headed to his office, but this time with a different perspective. The corporate world, which had once been his refuge and reason for being, now seemed empty. The endless meetings, aggressive negotiations, and constant struggle for power no longer provided the satisfaction they used to. It was as if a veil had been lifted, revealing the superficiality of his life. During a lunch with his colleagues at an exclusive restaurant, Alex noticed how their conversations revolved around acquisitions, investments, and luxuries. However, he no longer felt part of that world. Instead of participating, he found himself observing, evaluating his own priorities. It was then that his phone vibrated with a notification. It was a message from Robert, accompanied by a link to an online article. Alex opened it, finding a series of photos of him and Isabella at the museum and the square, taken by paparazzi. The article speculated about his new romance and questioned his choice of partner. Given that Isabella did not fit the beauty standards expected of someone of his status, the reaction of his colleagues was immediate. Some laughed, others looked at him with curiosity, but all were interested in knowing more about the woman who had caught Alex's attention. "Who is she?" asked one of them, smiling maliciously. "It seems you have a new type of interest." Alex felt a surge of irritation at his colleague's condescending tone. However, instead of letting himself be provoked, he remembered Isabella's words about the importance of being authentic and not letting others' opinions influence him. "She's someone who is teaching me to see the world in a different way," responded Alex, with a firmness that surprised his colleagues. The comment provoked a series of murmurs and looks of surprise, but Alex was not intimidated. For the first time, he realized that he didn't care what others thought. The experience with Isabella had shown him that there was more to life than external approval. That afternoon, as he returned to his office, Alex found himself reflecting on how he had allowed appearances to dictate his decisions and happiness. He decided it was time to change, to challenge his own prejudices, and to find a more meaningful purpose. Inspired by Isabella, Alex began researching various social causes that could benefit from his support. He realized that he had the ability to make a real difference in the world, and he was determined to use his influence and resources for something more than his own benefit. While exploring these new possibilities, Alex also decided to contact Isabella. He wanted to thank her for opening his eyes and share with her his desire to get involved in projects that really mattered. Although their relationship had started as a simple challenge, Alex felt that he had found in Isabella someone who could understand and support him in this new stage of his life. The call was brief but significant. Isabella was genuinely happy about Alex's change and encouraged him to continue exploring this new path. Her support was the boost Alex needed, and he felt more motivated than ever to move forward. With each step he took towards this new direction, Alex felt more at peace with himself. He had begun to see the world with different eyes, and although he knew the path would not be easy, he was willing to face it with the same passion and determination he had dedicated to his business. Alex's transformation was just beginning, but he had already taken the first steps towards a fuller and more authentic life, a life that would be measured not only by financial success, but by the positive impact he could have on others. The following days were a whirlwind of emotions and discoveries for Alex. The news of his marriage to Isabella had spread like wildfire, fueled by the media and social networks. Comments ranged from disbelief to mockery, but there were also those who applauded his apparent change of direction. One afternoon, while checking his emails, Alex received an unexpected invitation. It was from a morning television show that wanted to interview him, to talk about his recent marriage and the changes in his life. Alex hesitated at first, aware that public exposure could be a double-edged sword. However, he decided to accept the invitation, seeing an opportunity to talk about what really mattered. The day of the interview arrived quickly. Alex found himself on the set of the show, surrounded by bright lights and cameras. The hosts, a couple known for their direct style, greeted him with friendly but inquisitive smiles. "Alex, we're all surprised by your recent marriage to Isabella," began the host with a smile that couldn't hide her curiosity. "Tell us what led you to make this decision." Alex took a deep breath, aware that his words would be analyzed and commented on by millions of people. "Isabella has shown me a different way to see life," he responded, with a sincerity that surprised the hosts. "Through her, I've learned to value what really matters, beyond appearances and material success." The host, intrigued, leaned forward. Can you give us an example of how your perspective has changed? Alex smiled, remembering the moments shared with Isabella. Recently, we visited the Metropolitan Museum of Art, he explained. To me, it was just another building, but Isabella showed me how each artwork has a story and emotion behind it. She made me see the beauty in what I previously considered insignificant. The host nodded, impressed. And how has this affected your business decisions? I've decided to dedicate more time and resources to social causes, said Alex with conviction. I want to use my influence to make a positive difference in the world, something Isabella has inspired me to do. The interview continued, and Alex felt that, for the first time, he was sharing an authentic part of himself with the world. Although he knew there would be criticisms, he also hoped that his message would reach those who needed to hear a different perspective. After the interview, Alex felt relieved and motivated. He decided it was time to take another step and face his family, who had always valued appearances and status above all else. He knew that his parents' reaction would be a challenge, but he was determined to defend his new convictions. That night, Alex invited Isabella to dinner at his home. He wanted to share with her the changes he was making and thank her for being the spark that had ignited his transformation. Isabella accepted the invitation, and together they enjoyed a quiet evening full of meaningful conversations and laughter. The next day, Alex took Isabella to meet his parents. The family mansion, with its imposing facade and perfectly manicured gardens, reflected the world of luxury in which he had grown up. Isabella, with her simple but confident demeanor, was not intimidated by the environment. Alex's parents received them with a mix of curiosity and reserve. His mother, an elegant woman always concerned with appearances, could not hide her surprise at seeing Isabella. His father, a stern businessman, remained distant and critical. "Alex, what is this?" asked his mother, with a look that attempted to disguise her disapproval. "Who is this woman?" Alex, feeling the tension in the air, took Isabella's hand and introduced her proudly. "Mom, Dad, this is Isabella," he said firmly. "She has changed my life in ways I never imagined. She has taught me to see beyond appearances and to value what really matters." His mother frowned, clearly puzzled. "And what really matters, Alex?" she asked, with a tone that made her skepticism clear. "Authenticity, compassion, and the positive impact we can have on the world," responded Alex, looking at Isabella with a smile. "Isabella has shown me that true wealth is not in material possessions, but in how we live our lives and treat others." Alex's father, who had remained silent, finally spoke. "I hope you know what you're doing, son," he said with a hard look. "Our family has always valued success and reputation. I don't want you to put that at risk." Alex felt the pressure of family expectations, but he also knew that this was a crucial moment to defend his new convictions. "Dad, I understand your concerns, but I've seen the positive impact we can have," he said with determination. "I've met incredible people who are dedicating their lives to helping others, and I want to be part of that. Isabella has inspired me to see beyond appearances and to value what really matters." Mariana, who had been listening in silence, decided to intervene. "Dad, Mom, I think Alex is right," she said with a supportive smile. "We've always talked about the importance of leaving a legacy, and what better legacy than helping others and making the world a better place?" Don Rafael and Doña Elena looked at each other, clearly surprised by Mariana's support. Although the tension was still palpable, Alex felt that he had taken an important step towards understanding and supporting his family. After dinner, Alex found himself reflecting on the conversation. He knew that changing his parents' perceptions would not be easy, but he was determined to move forward. Isabella, always by his side, supported and inspired him to keep going. One afternoon, while walking in the park, Isabella decided to share another important revelation with Alex. "Alex, there's something else I need to tell you," she began with a serious look. "I've been thinking a lot about our future and the challenges we face." Alex looked at her, waiting. "I know we've been through a lot together, and I'm proud of what you've achieved," continued Isabella. "But I also think it's important for you to follow your own path and find your own truth." Alex felt a mix of sadness and understanding. "What do you mean, Isabella?" he asked softly. "I want you to keep exploring and growing, but I also want you to know that I'll always be here to support you," responded Isabella. "I think you need time to discover who you really are and what you want in life." Alex nodded, understanding the depth of her words. "I'm willing to do it, Isabella," he said with determination. "I want to be a better person and use my life for something meaningful." Isabella hugged him, and Alex felt a renewed hope and strength. He knew the path would be difficult, but he was willing to face it with courage and dedication. Over time, Alex continued working on his personal transformation and the social projects he had initiated. Isabella, always by his side, supported and inspired him to move forward. Although their relationship was not yet ready for eternal commitment, Alex knew they were building something much deeper and more meaningful. One morning, while Alex was reviewing reports on the various social projects he had initiated, he received an unexpected call. It was Isabella asking him to meet her in the park where they had shared so many significant moments. When Alex arrived at the park, he found Isabella waiting for him with a smile. They sat on their favorite bench and began to talk about their dreams and aspirations. "Alex, I've been thinking a lot about everything we've been through together," said Isabella, with a serious look, "and I think we're ready to take the next step." Alex looked at her with a mix of surprise and hope. "What do you mean, Isabella?" he asked softly. "I want us to continue working together on our projects and our relationship," replied Isabella. "I believe we've grown a lot and are ready to face any challenge that comes our way." Alex felt a surge of joy and gratitude. He knew the path would not be easy, but he was willing to face it with Isabella by his side. "I'm ready, Isabella," he said with determination. "Together we can achieve anything." Isabella smiled and hugged him, and Alex felt a renewed hope and strength. He knew the path would be difficult, but he was willing to face it with courage and dedication. The renewed commitment of Alex and Isabella to work together on their social projects and their relationship brought a new wave of energy and determination. They knew there were still challenges to overcome, but they were ready to face them together. Over time, Alex and Isabella became a well-known and respected couple in the philanthropic world. Their projects began to have a significant impact on the most needy communities, and their dedication inspired many others to join their cause. Alex felt that he was finally living a life with purpose, a life that Isabella had helped shape. However, in the midst of their success and happiness, life presented them with an unexpected challenge. Isabella began to feel unexplained discomfort and fatigue. After several visits to the doctor and a series of tests, she received a devastating diagnosis: a rare and incurable disease. The news fell like a bomb in Alex's life. The woman who had inspired him to change and find a deeper purpose in life was now facing a battle they could not win. Alex felt helpless, but Isabella, with her usual serenity, encouraged him to focus on the precious moments they could still share. "Alex, I don't want you to worry about what we can't change," said Isabella, with a calm voice. "I want us to make the most of the time we have left and continue with our mission." Despite his devastation, Alex decided to honor Isabella's wish. They continued working on their projects, and Alex dedicated himself to finding ways to make their last days together meaningful and full of love. Isabella, despite her illness, continued to be a source of inspiration and strength for him. In her final days, Isabella guided Alex in the mission to transform the secret fund into a force for good. Together, they planned the construction of schools, support for sustainable projects, and the promotion of art and culture. Isabella wanted to ensure that her legacy of love and generosity would endure long after she was gone. Isabella's health deteriorated rapidly, and Alex did everything he could to find a cure, consulting the best specialists and exploring all possible options. But Isabella remained serene, accepting her fate with a grace that Alex found astounding. One night, while they were together at home, Isabella took Alex's hand and looked at him with an intensity he would never forget. "Alex, I want you to promise me something," she said with a soft but firm voice. "Anything, Isabella," responded Alex with tears in his eyes. "Promise me that you will continue with our mission and live a life full of love and generosity," said Isabella. "I want you to keep inspiring others and use your life to do good." Alex nodded, unable to speak because of the lump in his throat. He knew he would keep that promise, not just for Isabella, but for everything she had meant to him. Isabella passed away shortly after, surrounded by love and peace. Alex, deeply marked by her loss, dedicated himself to honoring her legacy. He kept his promise, using the secret fund to build schools, support sustainable projects, and promote art and culture, always with discretion, as Isabella had wished. Over the years, Alex became a respected and admired philanthropist. Although he never remarried, he dedicated his life to perpetuating the legacy of love and generosity that Isabella had left him. His projects impacted thousands of people, and his story of love and redemption inspired many to look beyond appearances and make a difference in the world. As an old man, Alex shared his story with young entrepreneurs and philanthropists, encouraging them to live with authenticity and compassion. He told them how an arrogant challenge had turned into a journey of growth and transformation, and how true love had changed his life forever. "The true wealth is not in material possessions," said Alex. "It's in the positive impact we leave in the world and how we treat others. Isabella taught me that, and it's a lesson I carry in my heart every day." Alex lived the rest of his days dedicated to philanthropic work, always remembering Isabella and the love that united them. His story of love and generosity continued to inspire generations, leaving a legacy that would endure long after his departure.